So walk us through the construct of Dai-ichi Life. Walk us through how you're constructed to begin with.
So the construct is joint venture between two public sector banks. One of the big attributes of this joint venture was a very big distribution that gives us a huge reach every nook and corner. Probably you would have sold a policy to every pin code of the country. Technology actually is an amalgamation of understanding the business and then making sure that you're partnering with that business. You want to achieve scale with agility, speed becomes paramount.
Solutions don't fail, implementations do.
Nobody wakes up in the morning to buy insurance. That has to change.
Welcome to the podcast. We are so thrilled to be joined by Mohit, who is the Chief Technology Officer. Mohit, it's a three-way partnership. So walk us through the construct of Dai-ichi Life and how state banks as well as a Japanese conglomerate are responsible for this division of sorts. Walk us through how you're constructed to begin with.
Sure, Cyrus. First of all, thank you for having me here. So the construct, as you asked, is joint venture between two public sector banks, which is Bank of India and Union Bank of India, and a Japanese company called Dai-ichi, Dai-ichi Life Insurance. So they, all three of them came together in 2009 and they set up as JV to start a life insurance company. So that's how
it's constructed. And as yet, as a part foreign-owned financial institution, 15 years, you've seen growth this way, Mohit. So clearly you have a niche and you've done something that the others may not have caught on to. Walk us through your role and why is it that despite a fair bit of insurance companies plying in the life space, you guys have done well? The secret sauce, basically.
First of all, thanks for those compliments. I think let me talk or walk you through the company's growth, in terms of the time that we started. So this was in year 2009 when SUD Life or Star Union Dai-ichi came into picture. And one of the big attributes of this joint venture was a very big distribution that came because of the bank's branches, right? So approximately now with both the banks as well as the regional rural banks of the banks, we have around 15,000 to 16,000 touch points. So that gives us a huge reach in terms of reaching every nook and corner. Sometimes we used to take pride in saying that probably we would have sold a policy to every pin code of the country. And that obviously has happened because of the branches and the reach of the public sector banks. Public sector banks was started with the purpose of reaching to the masses.
The inclusion.
The inclusion. And so from the perspective of the rural sector and the urban sector, I think we got a very, very good opportunity to deal with both these sectors at a single point of time. So I think one, I would attribute it to the reach of the bank. I think the other thing probably was at that point of time, very few insurance companies were there. We actually call ourselves second generation insurance companies.
Correct.
The sector opened in 2000, but some of the companies came into existence in 2009. So first generation was 2000, second generation was 2009. And we are the second generation. So obviously we had to do a lot of catch up.
True.
And the reach of the bank, as I had said earlier, provided us that opportunity for us to go to those customers, masses, and reach those customers.
How fantastic. What a good success story. And you have always been in the technology side of that. I mean, again, people may or may not understand the gravitas of distribution and digital distribution channel. You stride both. You're a technologist. You also look at distribution channels because it's tech enabled. And then you start looking and getting involved in products, right? So walk us through your typical day or month. What are you spending more time on? Lights on, technology, data centers, new solutions, creating a product, distributing a product. What takes What takes more time?
Yeah, I think a fantastic question, Cyrus. First of all, I think I have been very lucky in that sense that I have got opportunities to be on the business side as well as on the technology side. And in previous company, I was handling sales also. In this company, I was chief distribution officer. I was a chief operating officer. And now I handle technology as well as products, and I take care of corporate strategy. Just to answer your second question, probably what we say as what gives us kick now, is the variety and the challenge of the roles that you are doing, and not probably in the pay. I think that probably is important, right? You keep on doing one thing, it becomes monotonous. Yeah, you are, you probably need to do more, and it's probably a construct of a person what he wants to do from that perspective. I think what has helped me specifically, when I handle these roles, is technology actually is an amalgamation of understanding the business and then making sure that you're partnering with that business. So my experience in terms of business actually helps me a lot in terms of understanding what the business needs, and then probably providing that thing to the to the distributor or the customer.
Beautifully put. So, Amit, would you say that, what would you say amalgamation of business, technology, distribution? We are talking to CIOs, CTOs, much like yourself.
Right.
Walk me through, you are an amalgamation of 12, 15, 20, 50 different companies and solutions. Foundationally, everybody from storage and cloud and infra,
Right.
To APIs and to microservices and customer touchpoints and applications.
Right.
How do you manage? How do you orchestrate? How do you hold them accountable? They came and sold you a piece of software or a solution. Right. How do you monitor this? Are they delivering on that promise? I mean, walk us through a new CIO who is about to procure a core system.
Yeah.
How do you actually even monitor? There's no dashboard to look at. What do you do? I mean,
Cyrus, while there are dashboards to look at, right, you can really, on a daily basis look at some of the dashboards. But I think the question about how do you choose a partner, or how do you choose, let's say a policy admin system, which is a backbone of your, life insurance company, I think is driven by the fact that what is your business strategy, right? I think everything emanates from the fact that, what the company wants to achieve, right? And, you want to achieve scale, you want to achieve scale with agility, you want to, for example, for us as SUD Life, obviously, since we are a late starter in terms of second generation, we want to obviously move fast, and with the fact that we have a distribution of the bank, agility, speed becomes paramount, right? And so time to market in terms of, introducing new products becomes very important. So from that perspective, you choose what you want to have, right? That's one part of it. The other part of it obviously is that you need to be very aware about what is the technology is offering, right? And are you looking at, creating or having some legacy systems, which obviously came into picture, or you're looking at futuristic pieces, right? And those futuristic pieces probably at some point of time are also leap of faith. Right. Not all of them are proven. You've not tested it. So you have to take some leap of faith. So I think it's a combination of the fact that, you probably, the core system, for example, I would want it to be a very sturdy, reliable system, right? Most of the companies, including us, have that policy admin system, which is time tested, right? While, it's been managed, it's the foundational piece. So I don't want to mess around with that piece, right? But over and above that, right, I can experiment, right? I can have applications where, I feel it will give me an advantage or competitive advantage, in terms of setting up products, in terms of setting up processes, in terms of integrating with, multiple partners that I want to integrate with, create a very seamless digital journey. Now, those are some of the aspects that I will look at.
Which sit on top of your critical system. So KYC, risk, customer journeys, all of those can be componentized and you keep changing. So then it begs the question, how do you align these partners who've just been inducted into your ecosystem from a services point of view? How are they aligned towards your KPI? So you're heading towards growth, obviously, but you want to do it securely and you want to create that customer delight. They're selling just a component of that. So you need to shepherd them and saying, okay, guys, this way, everybody this way. Yeah.
It's like this story about a person chiseling a stone.
Yeah.
You heard about that, right? Now whether you if somebody asks what are you doing, he can say I'm chiseling a stone. Somebody can say I'm there is a sculpture that is getting created and I'm part of that sculpture, right? So I think for me it is important that every partner understands the final outcome. Where am I heading, right? And instantly what we did was we in fact called all the partners, and took them through the business strategy that we have and some of the things that we are driving at, so that they understand the big picture. Obviously they are doing one part of it, whether small or big, does not make a difference, right? At the end of the day, if they know what's the final product of where what they are coming together and we want to achieve from that, I think that is very important. So one is giving them the big picture, and I think second, then getting into specifics about the milestones or the objectives that I want to drive with the SLAs and the KPIs, which we'll sit with specific partners and say this is what we want to drive at. But if you do this, this is what the big picture is going to be, right? So
Right. So that's an important pointer to our audiences in this Kindle podcast, saying when you induct the partners, you're obviously doing that, but then to narrate that every now and then so that you can realign them towards your North Star, maybe that gave you the differentiator and that speed to market that others may lack, because one-time induction of a partner is not the be-all, do-all. They need to be constantly shepherded towards that direction. So that's a commendable
thank you. I think, I remember at some point of time, we used to call all these partners as vendors. And, what we realize is that that's not, it's not a vendor principle or, arrangement, right? They have to become partners, right? And, this is a story of technology also. Technology started as a back office or back end support, then got into enabling support or enabler. Now it's partnering, right? So if we are partnering with business, right, technology, then obviously the people who are with us, who are helping us to, achieve the goals that we have set for ourselves, I think they are also partners with us. So one is obviously, this, while it's a word, it changed the whole relationship that you are creating with, your the dynamics change.
Because
right?
then they are in it, you're in it.
So they feel the skin in the game, right, for them, right? And it's not that, I'm sure there is commercials involved and so on and so forth. That's one part of it, right? The other part of it is, that they should be feeling, proud of the fact that they're associated with, this objective that the organization is driving. I think while we had a side chat on this, I think what the regulator started doing is creating a marketplace or a platform where all the insurance companies, and when I say insurance, it is not life, but is life, health, general, all put together. They can list their products, and the customers have a one place kind of where they can see all the products that are available, and make a choice.
And the government itself is going to anchor that platform. That's
So it's basically while the insurers have funded this venture, the name is called Bima Sugam. Bima basically is insurance, and Sugam basically means ease, right? So it's basically the whole objective was to make sure that when a customer lands into this marketplace or a platform, everything is available to him.
Make an informed decision.
It's an informed decision, and he makes a choice, right? He can always, while I was reading that, more than 60% of the customers now are first researching in digital and then probably taking a choice of where to buy and what to buy. Now, they're not probably buying from, let's say internet or mobile, but at least they are researching, right? And obviously what we see in future is that while they are researching there, they can also buy from there. people have started, but what I see is that while there are digital savvy and digital native generation, there is the other generation which is also now warming up to this thing of having freedom, to make a choice, go to a place, research, and then buy it from there. That's one part. Just to complete that, the other part obviously is that it's not that the advisory route is going to go away, right? The advisory route is going to stay, right? It's going to stay because 90%, more than 90% of the sales still happens from advisory route. So that's going to stay. The only thing that will happen is that the intelligence probably will be enabled much more, as well as the awareness that is getting created for the customer probably will be created much more through the digital mode.
So there is this platform, they are making informed decisions, they're browsing, they're selecting. It's a marketplace. It happened in banks 10 years ago. Now it's happening here, like a credit card comparison. All of that is generating a fair bit of data. You obviously are generating a huge amount of data. You're sitting on a fair bit of data. And now there's this data privacy, the DPTP coming around. That's a new-ish mandate. How has that made your way into Dai-ichi? How are you handling these new mandates? And is data protection and privacy a large concern for you in some way? I mean, security, of course, cybersecurity, data privacy.
It is. I think two big things coming our way for the industry as a whole. One is the IFRS part, which which is the accounting thing. We get advantage because quite a few countries have adopted the IFRS thing. So with Dai-ichi being present in multiple countries, we get some advantage in talking and interacting and finding out how did the whole journey take place. That's one. Coming to DPDP, obviously the rules have been now notified. I see that it is a good step in the direction of privacy and protection. Yes, there is a lot of data that is getting generated, and it's important for organizations like us because we will be called data fiduciary, and we'll have a lot of responsibility in terms of maintaining and managing that data that the customer is giving us, sharing us, and trusting with us. So while there is a 12 to 18 months timeline that has been given in terms of implementing, I think again digital comes into picture that there are a few tools that are available, which will help us in terms of the data discovery, the data governance part of it. And I think probably what it also gives is the responsibility in terms of people who are consuming data, right? That how responsible are we becoming in terms of consuming that
So
data?
the whole API orchestration layer itself gets questioned. You're consuming data, you're publishing data. Third party should also be as compliant as you are. Because if you're going through a distribution channel, what if that is compromised? And the onus falls on you, does it? So to make sure that the entire life cycle is secure.
That's where this whole data fiduciary term comes into. That we need to make sure that whatever partnership that we've done where we're sharing some data, right, that data is protected, right? And if the breach happens, obviously there are implications. So we need to also make sure that we are working very closely with the partners, right? So that whatever data is getting shared, they also have their guardrails, they also have their firewalls in terms of making sure that that data is not going away.
No word comes in, which again amplifies the fact that solutions don't fail, implementations do. So the partner ecosystem that you've stitched together, if they are aligned towards your business KPI and towards the regulatory mandates that are coming to you, then things are okay. Otherwise, things may go awry. Let's switch channels towards crystal balling into the future. Now, again, everybody talks about AI, generative AI, machine learning. That made its inroads into the banking sector in India. It's clearly here. Japan and your parent, I'm sure they have multiple use cases. What about you here, Mohit? Use cases around, call it agentic AI, call it AI, generative AI, multiple facets of artificial intelligence and machine learning that are now becoming mainstream. Walk us through a couple of use cases, if you may,
Okay.
that you have harnessed. And
I think so. A few of them that we've harnessed or we have experimented on and we worked. One obviously is on the underwriting side. So we've used models where the underwriting becomes more automated. Let me put it that way, without compromising on the risk. I think one of the things that have happened in terms of the e-commerce exploding in India, is the instant gratification or instant fulfillment, right? The customer expects that, every industry will obviously give him instant. Exactly, right? And financial services faces a dilemma in that sense, right? Because there are a lot of regulatory aspects that needs to be fulfilled, before offering a product to the customer, whether it is KYC, whether it is, making sure that the customer understands the product, and then gives consent and then, the product is bought, because otherwise it will end up in terms of grievances. So I think from our perspective, technology or AI comes into play, right? Whether it is about reading the documents that are submitted by the customer, and underwriting on the go, which means that you're reading the documents, you're reading the data, and you're able to give a decision. So the decision support system or decision making system. So I think those are some of the things that we've experimented on. We are currently in the process of saying that, can I give an instant issuance to the customer? So he walks into the branch, and he sold a product, and he walks out of the branch with a policy document in his mobile, right? So I think those are some of the. So one is on the underwriting side that we've experimented. Second one is on the servicing side, right, where we've had two use cases. One, we've used a bot in my call center, where the queries of the customer are being handled by a voice bot. Voice bot. So approximately, we started some 7 months back. 60% of my queries are getting handled by the bot, and that too in multi languages. So a customer can talk to me, in any language, and the bot understands, and it's contextual. It's able to answer. And 60% of my customers go back happy. And when we take a survey from them, that how was the interaction, fantastic, because at the end of the day, this
Understood me.
and the solution was instant, and there was no bias in terms of the human, from that perspective, as well as accuracy in terms of what was given to the customer. So I think that was the second use case that we have. The third one, obviously is a similar thing that we've offered to the customer on different channels, including WhatsApp. So again, he's able to interact with me and get all the information about his products, policies, through a chatbot. So I think these are three. But I think the bigger one, which we are trying to now experiment on, is on how do we make sure that the sales journey, where a customer, an agent is talking to the customer, or our employee is talking to the customer, what kind of nudges can be given to the person to make sure that the interactions becomes much more seamless, as well as more value adding, and later on help us in terms of better conversions, right? Because the end goal obviously is to make sure the interactions are good enough and then the conversions happen. So I think that's a much bigger use case, where that's in the POC. So we are some nudges have started. Some nudges in terms of first managing a lead to become a prospect, to become a customer. I think those are all the three journeys that we are looking at. So post sales, we have kind of done a much bigger, I would say, adoption. Pre-sales and sales is where I think we are now working on.
Fantastic. So we talked about the tech part, the ecosystem, new shiny new toy, generative AI, and bots are already in place. I have a couple of questions before we conclude. If you're spending $100, hypothetically, how is that broken down in your specific world in Dai-ichi? You're spending 30, 30, 30, 30 being keep the lights on solutions and licenses and innovation, or is a component taking away a lot more? I mean, is infra taking 40%, infra and cloud? Are you spending more on solutions, or do you have the advantage of allocating more towards innovation, try it, experiment it? Well, how are you structured?
Okay. So I think infra takes quite a bit of chunk, right? It would, yeah, and it would. And but what is happening with infra also is there is lots and lots of new things coming up. Whether we started with having virtualization onwards to now multiple new AI-based solutions coming up. So I think that probably I would say is now creating more efficiencies. And the more scale you generate, obviously, you will have more efficiencies. And then obviously the other part is your bigger applications that you are that you are with. So I think from our perspective, and obviously
It's a good spread.
it's a good spread. It's not that I am getting constrained because one of the segment is taking away all of my budget. That's not the case. And I think what also happens, and this is very, we also have a Dai-ichi Innovation Fund, and Dai-ichi supports in terms of putting in your projects, and the selection happens, and on that basis there's a fund given to the idea. Incidentally, obviously, it's for all the Dai-ichi companies across the world, but I would say now the lion's share is coming to India. There's a lot of things, a lot of good ideas are coming in, and obviously Dai-ichi has been supporting in terms of those ideas. So I think from that perspective, I would again say we are lucky. One, because of the strength of the promoters as well as the understanding of them to definitely keep on doing experiments.
Don't
right?
sit and wait, innovate. So one last concluding question to you. We always ask, if you've been watching the Kindle podcast, what is that one magical thing given to you tomorrow that will enable you to change? I mean, you've been in business, you've been in operations, you've been on the tech side, you're now overlooking at the entire stitch together. If you could magically change something, I don't want to be stuck with compliance. It could be, I magically want way more innovation budget. I wish I could be the dominant insurer, but 80% of India insures. What would that magic look like? What would you love to create that will make your job so much easier? And of course, I mean, we're talking in the context of partners enabling that. Is there this magical end goal, vision?
Honestly, Cyrus, you put me on spot on this. Let me just put it this way, right? That I think one of the things that the industry struggles with is how to gain the trust of a customer, right? And I think if something and obviously technology has provided a lot of means and ways to make sure that the customer trust is built. Customer trust is not built on only one thing, right? You're settling claims faster, you're issuing policies faster, you are settling their grievances faster and accurately. I think all of this builds up in terms of gathering or gaining that trust of the customer. So I think if there is one magic thing, I think that will be to make sure that if the customer's trust improves and increases significantly, because what we feel is, and you've been reading about it, right? India is a very underinsured and uninsured market, right? So we need to make sure that everybody is covered, and there is a insurance for all by 2047 is what government's mandate also is, right? So if you are able to get that, right, and there is a saying in our industry or world that nobody wakes up in the morning to buy insurance, and it is always sold and never bought. Right, that has to change, right? And if there's something that comes up where people, and there is awareness getting created, people are understanding. COVID has helped, well, in the wrong way, but COVID had helped in terms of people understanding how, why and what to protect, right, in terms of life and health.
And the affordability as well. I think as the products become more prevalent, insurance doesn't sound expensive and cumbersome. It's embedded, it's there. And
Cyrus, the problem or the challenge is those who can afford it should also buy it, right? My first challenge is that, right? Those who are able to afford it, definitely, make sure that you are covered adequately. So I think that probably would be my, my wish.
Fantastic. It's absolutely a delight to have you and spend so much time with us, Mohit. Thank you so much for participating, and wish you all the very best with that magical output.
Thank you, Saras. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.